As Murph mentioned, my name's Andrew Lieberman. I'm the SE covering, responsible for Missouri and Kansas with FalconStor. And just want to let everybody know this event is specifically targeted toward mid-market to enterprise environments and customers. You typically have in-system SAN copy functions because of your joint requirements for business continuity and software that accommodates protection and advanced functions that FalconStor offers. This chart, sort of an eye chart, but this really just goes over some of the challenges and things that customers face day in and day out, growing capacity needs with limited budgets, multiple data protection tools across multiple vendor SANs, as well as different copy tools and recovery tools that your administrators have to work with and have the skill set to utilize. In addition to growing business operational hours, as well as shrinking backup windows. You know, the increasing frequency of outages due to things like human errors, hardware failures, software updates and patches, environmental issues, things, natural disasters, environmental issues such as power outages, cooling failures, leaks, not to mention tech refreshes, migrating onto newer SANs, or going from physical to virtual servers. All of those things, I think it's safe to assume some of you folks deal with day in and day out. And so because of that, these ABCD points are the focus of FalconStor messaging, and we believe that they should be the focus of our customers as well. Really, because of business applications being the most important thing in every IT department and organization, having that data available and having the assurance that that data is available when you need it. For business continuity functions, rapid recovery of data, applications, servers, preserves a company's business revenue operation. Along with the business continuity requirements are the cost and management of all the growing data volumes and the number of servers, as well as the IT infrastructure and the pressure to manage all of these different disparate SANs across your environment. And so this is, that's why this is the focus. So the solution really begins with SAN consolidation. FalconStor NSS unifies heterogeneous storage resources and consolidates storage provisioning under a single interface. Storage virtualization enables heterogeneous SAN consolidation for those multiple SANs inherit all of the rich advanced software functions that FalconStor provides. Things such as thin provisioning, mirrors, journals, snapshots, remote replication, automated DR with our Recover Track tool, integration with VMware Site Recovery Manager, as well as Microsoft Stretch Cluster. So SAN business continuity functions are typically purchased from vendors on a SKU basis, with the exception of a handful of vendors that offer inclusive feature sets. However, FalconStor is unique in that we're a vendor that provides up to 1,000 snapshots per volume. And with that, there is significant tape cost savings, and what that allows for is practical disk to tape solutions. For example, these large snapshot inventories enable that practical disk to tape, and having the snapshots available for instantly mountable for recovery of database objects, files, directories, or entire servers. And customers can actually mount from these snapshots. So if we were to do just some rough cocktail napkin math, and just a show of hands, how many folks in here are using tape today? Okay. So for customers doing full weekly backups onto tape, and let's say, for example, you're using LTO technology, I think it's safe to assume that a tape cartridge is roughly $50 a cart. So if you multiply 52 weeks in a year times $50 a cart, that is $2,600 a year in tape media expense per server. If you were to look at implementing a disk-to-tape strategy, and instead of doing weekly full backups, you go to monthly full backups, you could essentially reduce your spend, so 12 months in a year times $50 a card, $600 a year in tape media costs per server. You could reduce your spend by $2,000 per server in your environment. So this is just part of the ROI that FalconStor provides, and this also applies to our FDS and VTL solutions. FalconStor Remote Replication is a standard feature of all FalconStor products. It offers heterogeneous any-to-any replications, and by the way, there's no additional cost for that functionality. FalconStor WAN optimized replication uses microscan technology to significantly reduce the bandwidth requirements needed for off-site DR. And so we'll talk about microscan in the next couple of slides, but I did want to mention that you are enabled to set the policy, both continuous or periodic, on how it's replicated. And there's also, and it's basically determined by the time or amount of data accumulated. One other thing I wanted to mention about FalconStor is just its openness. We're a software company. We take off the vendor handcuffs and let you guys decide, okay, if you've already invested in XYZ technology, with FalconStor you can still use it. We're not trying to push anybody out or move anyone aside. We're trying to allow you to use the resources that you've already invested in and apply them to your future strategy of your organization. Once again, encryption and compression are also included, so no additional WAN features are required for this replication. FalconStor Remote Replication, once again, it's a standard feature of all FalconStor products. We offer any-to-any, it doesn't matter if it's for you customers that have multiple sites, you can have many-to-one. We're extremely flexible in that respect. And so once again, both NSS is certified with VMware Site Recovery Manager and Microsoft Stretch Clusters. With VMware Site Recovery Manager, we support both failover and failback. Given that the bulk of a company's IT investment is in your primary data center, coupled with the fact that most outages are short-term in nature, the ability to fail back IT operations is critical. So this is a little bit of information on microscan. Once again, this is the most efficient possible form of replication on the market today, and I'll tell you why. If you look up here, you see a typical 8K write of data. And in those 16 sectors, you can see the light blue cells. There are 3 of them. And so what microscan does is it doesn't copy and then flood the pipe with a complete write. Only the deltas are pulled across the pipe. So in this example here, you can see only those 3 sectors have to go across the pipe. So it's just much more efficient than traditional methods of replication. And so this slide really goes over the ROI for that same solution, replicating 1.2 terabytes of data. Using standard technologies, that would take up to 68 hours to replicate. With microscan, that time goes down to 10.7 hours. Now, if you wanted to get down to that 10.7 hour replication time using other methods, it would require 2 OC3 pipes as opposed to the T3 link that microscan could replicate with. And so that would cost approximately $600,000 annually. Pretty significant, and that's just your networking cost. The chart at the bottom compares a traditional SAN array technology to FalconStor with less efficient replication and tier 1 storage at both sites. With FalconStor, you're not required to have that tier 1 storage at your DR site. You can use less expensive, slower storage, maybe SAS drives or something like that, a technology, because you're not running predominantly at your DR site, so why spend the same amount of money as you would at your primary site? So in this example, the array-based solution comes in at approximately $4 million, and the FalconStor solution comes in at $320K. And mind you, that's including that Tier 2 storage at your DR site. So very compelling. Disaster recovery has been sold by SAN vendors as remote copy. The IT community has accepted this as DR for many years, yet from the customer's perspective, or more importantly, where does your revenue come from? If you experience any type of outage or failure, what are the impact to your customers and more importantly, your business? Do customers care that your DR solution is simply a remote copy of data? No, they care that your application is down. They care that they have lost service, and you should care that you're losing business, revenue, and your reputation. So in fact, replication is not DR, it never has been, and it never will be. FalconStor NSS and RecoverTrack technology go far beyond the storage remote replication layers and actually provide application and business recovery. In the event of a failure or an outage, the RecoverTrack tool will boot physical servers or hypervisor hosts. It will provision all servers and start servers in the correct order if there are any dependencies or delays required to bring those applications up ASAP. Because as we mentioned before, having your business critical applications is the foundation of your business, and what really matters at the end of the day is that those applications are up and that your customers can depend on them and that you can depend on them. As I mentioned, it'll start everything in the correct order, provision and boot both physical servers, or virtual machines, hypervisor hosts, and as well as the networking, address remapping capabilities. All of this happens really in an automated fashion. And so this slide, in a little bit more detail, goes into RecoverTrack tool and how it automates a complex and error-prone steps. And this is something you work through, not in the 11th hour, right when you're, dealing with a situation, but this is a proactive solution you work with in advance to work through those complex error-prone steps and make sure that everything has been set up to resume your IT business-critical applications and servers. Supporting, as I mentioned, both physical and virtual servers from Microsoft, Hyper-V, and VMware, standalone servers or clustered servers, the ability to support both local or remote sites for recovery, including multi-site recovery. This technology, this RecoverTrack technology, supports all of your IT investments and infrastructure for functional, automated disaster recovery. Now, lastly, RecoverTrack tool is an included feature of the FalconStor products, and so it's included with the software. There's no additional cost for this valuable function, and that's why and how FalconStor is truly redefining data protection.
And the nice part about RecoverTrack, just a quick comment, is a lot of times businesses have been operating for years with the assumption that it's okay if a disaster occurs, God forbid that it doesn't, but if and when a disaster occurs, they need to live 24 hours before the service is restored, or 12 hours before the service is restored. And in today's environment, the way the technology has advanced, we can, through FalconStor and with FalconStor and RecoverTrack, we can have you back up and running in 30 minutes or less, many times 15 minutes or less. And I know that's a bold statement, but we simply wouldn't make it if it weren't true. And there are many customers that will testify to the fact that their recovery time objectives using RecoverTrack are within minutes as opposed to hours. So it's just a powerful technology that sometimes it takes a little while to really kind of get your mind around. But it's a very, very powerful technology, as Andrew mentioned, that's bundled into either the NSS or the CDP product.
Yeah, much more than just replication. I mean, it's true business recovery. So to summarize, assurance, business continuity, cost containment, and data growth management. What we're doing is we're integrating storage virtualization and data protection capabilities across all of your SAN inventory. We are preserving IT and business applications and data from a service orientation perspective, giving you the ability to manage and reduce costs with the unique capabilities of FalconStor. And most importantly, in this market when everyone's expecting your department to do more with less, we're giving you the ability to centralize and simplify management of all of these growing data volumes across your infrastructure. And that's, that's pretty much the presentation today. Once again, I wanted to thank you all for coming out and your attention and spending time with us.